Look, I think that the real challenge of this kind of organizing is work that we as feminists have to do a better job of articulating, which is that when I see young women of color who tell me that they don't want to be feminists because of white women's racism, typically what I say to them is, this is interesting, because black women have struggled to name the moniker of feminism for two key reasons: white women's racism, and because they love black men, and for if they're straight, they ain't trying to fuck up their access to sex and partnership. Real talk. I've had black women say to me, so how do men feel about this feminist thing? And I think we have to be honest about that, because part of what folks are saying is, am I going to risk the well-being of my home and my family to get on board with these politics? And I think the thing that we have to tell them is, feminism is the core of what is going to make your home life and your family life well. Feminism is the thing that gives us language to help your partner think about how to show up for you in ways that are not rooted in sexism. Feminism gives you the language to fight back against your boss who is sexually harassing you. It gives you the language to have a creative family structure. If maybe you don't get married. I'm 37, I'm not married, most of my crew ain't married. And so we're trying to figure out our golden girl situation. In the case that, partnership doesn't emerge in the ways that we want it to. But all of that is the kind of conversation that feminism is having. And so part of what I want to say is that this is not just about what we're against or what we're fighting to tear down, but it is also about what kind of world are we trying to build. And I don't think that we do enough to articulate why you want to get on board with this, how your life gets better when you take up the mantle of feminism. But I also want to say, really particularly to white women, and I said it before and we'll just keep on saying it, the challenge for feminism in this moment is, what does a freedom vision look like? And I think that the thing that unites white women and black men is that they both understand freedom to be having access to what white men have. Because white women live in the house with white men, they raise white men, they were raised by white men, and what they want is for their gender to not keep them from being able to rule the world like white men do. And black men want the same thing. They want for their race to keep them from being able to rule the world the way that white men do. And the reason that you see black women being the only people in this moment, black women and other women of color, talking with some sense, Maxine Waters, Kamala Harris, the reason that we're sort of in public saying Donald Trump is terrible, he's horrible, this is unprecedented in our lifetimes, what we're seeing. The reason black women have that kind of clarity is because we don't just have race keeping us from what white men have. We don't just have gender. We have both things keeping us from it. So because we have been so far below what white men have, we have always had to think about, what does freedom truly mean? It doesn't actually mean the ability to rule the world, the ability to dominate everybody. That's not what we're fighting for. We're fighting for a world where everybody gets to flourish, everybody gets to live in the fullness of their humanity, where there's enough for everybody to eat. Look, it sounds idealistic, but that's all we're fighting for, is for the world to be better. And too often what other people's freedom project is they see the way that white men walk around with all this swag, and white men, y'all walk around with a lot of, y'all have it, y'all know it, and it's the swag that comes from having a life built on the ability to name what is factual and what is true for everyone else. Y'all think I'm just engaged in polemic and propaganda, so let me put my scholarly spin on it. You have an epistemological problem.
Who do? White men?
White people, but I'm talking to white men. White men have an epistemological problem, and that problem is that you have been able to name the terms upon which the universe proceeds. And white women have seen you do it and they want access to it, and black men have seen you do it and they want access to it, and black women have been like, all these folks on bullshit, and that clearly ain't the way the world works, because if it was, why we struggling so hard? And so we have a different set of epistemological terms, and the reason you want to get on board with the project we're talking about is because our epistemological framework, i.e. what we know, what we can see, our ability to see the long game about this Trump shit, is causing us to make far better political decisions in this moment than any of the rest of you. And that's a hard truth to hear because no one ever thinks that black women really know anything. They think that what we're here to do is to be, one, angry for the revolution, or two, to provide comfort for everybody when they're tired. They don't actually see us as theorists and knowledge producers who can look at the shit and say, we're invested in this project because we want everybody to be well. And we know that when the lowest group of folks wins, everybody can win.